Xbox developer responds to worrying report about the Xbox Series X. So, did you see the modern vintage
I
gamer
did.
video?
I did.
Oh, so what do you think?
I mean, I already knew, um, well, I think a lot of people knew that the initial setup for Xbox
Yeah.
Series X always needed an online component.
Hmm.
Um, so that's just to get the console started.
Yeah.
You really cannot even use it unless you have access to online.
Yeah.
That being said, the fact that you need even for physical games to contact online in order to approve the license. It's funny because that actually happened to me yesterday and it was bizarre. I've been playing Resident Evil 8
Hmm.
and I was playing it nonstop. I hadn't taken out the disc at all.
Hmm.
And it seemed that my system was having an issue just reading the disc. And so when I clicked on the icon to go ahead and start playing the game,
Hmm.
it was like we don't detect the disc or something something. It said something about license. We couldn't detect the license, and I was like, the disc is right inside. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, it's disconcerting.
Yeah.
And I don't know how because I haven't read this
All
response.
right.
I don't know
Yeah.
how they're going to work around it because literally they've made their entire foundation on
Xbox Live.
contacting contacting Xbox Live. They've done it since Xbox 360
Yeah.
with Xbox games.
So let's see what they say here. All right. Having watched the video and read through the discussions here, my main takeaway is that we need to improve our on console error messaging. The very generic and unclear error messaging clearly adds confusion and can lead to mistrust of the system, said the developer. There is actually an effort
Hmm.
initially to revamp licensing related error messaging, and I will ensure that this feedback is heard internally to continue driving that effort. The developer continues breaking down the claims and why they don't exactly add up in the way they are presented. Hopefully, some technical explanation here helps shed light on the issue. And I completely agree that we need to improve the error messaging here. Licensing is a complex area, especially with disks and external hard drives, and we can do better informing the user. I will take this away to the team and ensure we internalize this. Um, not much. Not
No,
much.
if anything, it's weird because it's like the actual issue is literally being able to play your physical games
Yes.
while your system is not connected online.
Yeah.
And the thing that was being reiterated was the error code or the error messaging. So it's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Yeah. So, for those of you that don't know, when you buy a digital copy, you get a license to play the game digitally, right? Same thing with a disc. You get a disc license. You get a license to play the disc. Now that being said, the difference is that you have the physical media. You should be able to play it offline. That's the difference. And and even a digital game that you download, you should be able to play offline too, unless it's a multiplayer game, right? So,
Yeah, I agree.
um, I just think there's a lot of corners being cut, and they're just making it easier on themselves to deal with the DRM. Whereas, if they wanted to fully flesh this out and make it so that there's an offline DRM checking thing, or you know, maybe look, I know what they want to do. They don't want to store any DRM checks or licensing on the internal drive because they know that hackers are eventually going to get in there and they're eventually going to be able to alter the DRM specifications. I know that's what they want to do. But like making everything server dependent isn't good for longevity of systems. I mean, that's just the truth. And we're seeing it now. Because why is everyone collecting older systems to play games? You know what I mean? They
Well, I
don't.
mean, the Xbox 360 and the PS3. Well, less the Xbox 360, more the
Yeah.
PS3. The situation where the fact that it needs to contact PlayStation in order to authenticate, and it's like if that CMOS battery dies,
Yeah. Can't play.
you can't play games that you've already purchased on a console that you've already purchased.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can go ahead and play, and this is unfortunately, yeah, with video games. Like I can play my Nintendo games on my original Nintendo console. I can play
Hmm.
my PlayStation games on my original PlayStation console. And it's like the idea of ownership, they're chipping away at that from the consumer level.
Yeah. Um.
And that's anti-consumer, and we
It,
should really rally against that.
yeah. We need to push back against the idea of taking away physical ownership. We need to push back against that idea because I'm going to tell you guys something. If everything is rent, we're all going to end up poor, and we're not going to have anything to show for it. It's just the truth, man. If you have to
Well,
rent every single thing you own, you can't build wealth.
Well, you can't. Well, you said rent to own. That's not people. People already are accustomed to renting to experience,
Yes.
and then that's it. That that
Yeah.
that, that experience is what they've purchased.
Yeah.
A good example is Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a Netflix account. I have a Netflix account.
Yes.
Yes, those are movies, but you don't own those movies. You don't own anything.
Yeah.
You're literally just purchasing the ability to watch those items when they have them available, because sometimes they don't.
Yeah. And but there needs to be the option for ownership. Because if you take that way away 100%, like I said, there's no way to build any wealth in the world. Because you can't own anything, so you can't resell it. You know what I mean? You can't
Well,
collect anything. You can't
on the
appreciate
corporate
value.
level, they like that because they don't have to worry about licensing like this,
I know.
and
We,
they own everything, and then they can resell it as often as they want.
exactly. So we need to push back against this. And I strongly, strongly, uh, you and me are strong advocates of retailers like Limited Run or Super Rare Games, Special Reserve, because they're keeping it alive, and we need
Yes.
to, we need to support those. Because if you don't, we're gonna lose it. We will lose it.